Hi everyone, and here is my week 17 update, and it's not a positive one this week, unfortunately. Since the training wheels come off at the end of week 12, so 5 weeks ago, I have put on 7 kilo. So I am, I'm disappointed in myself, and I'm a bit disappointed in the process that I've gone through with this Pathway to Remission program. Now, it's no fault of the program itself, in the sense that I've been having regular sessions with the coach, although my session was cancelled due to sickness this week, so that's been delayed by another week. It's more, and I remember saying this during some of the earlier videos, the mental health support wasn't there. There are training modules you can do, and you do get to speak to your coach about certain things, but it never really addresses any underlying issues you have with your overeating in the first place. So I am, I'm in a bit of a, I'm not going to say a panic situation. It's not panic stations yet. It's more of a disappointment, and another reset, another great reset is required. I think until I've spoken to the coach, I'm going to go back onto the shakes, perhaps go to 2 shakes a day, just to reduce my calorific intake. I think the reality is that I've perhaps fallen into bad habits. Now, I'm not drinking alcohol, I'm not over indulging. It's perhaps the food that I'm eating, perhaps it's more calorie dense than I realise. The other thing is my exercise level has dropped off since I come back from vacation, so perhaps that's a significant factor for my weight gain as well, which also goes to show perhaps my body has adjusted to a lower calorie. Spending 12 weeks on 800 calories a day, and then going up to, I don't know, 1800, 2000, 2500, depending on if I've been out or not, perhaps even higher sometimes. Went out for a meal last night, had a slice of apple pie, had a look at the menu afterwards, and you got 700 calories in that. So I was having more calories in an apple pie, or nearly enough more calories in an apple pie, than I was in an entire meal. Now, I also think that part of it is fluid coming back on, so hopefully within a week or two some of that water will have gone and my weight will have come back down to reflect that. But I really need to take a long look at myself and find out why. I know I've said previously that I'm not the best at calorie counting, I'm not the best at dieting, so I really think if I'm going to keep the weight off and get my diabetes path remission back on track, it's going to be through exercise and hard work rather than just reducing calories as well. And that pretty much echoes all the videos that I've seen for people that have done this path to remission program before. They do well during the 12 weeks, and then when they stop, they have a slip up, or they notice their weight slowly increases and then they struggle to get it back on track. Now, I don't want to be one of these people. I want to get it back on track, but it's got to be in a long-term sustainable way, and having shakes and things like that isn't long-term. I have my call with my coaches now next week, and the consideration is to go back on to shakes. They do actually call it a reset program, and that's another 7 weeks on shakes, and I think that's just to basically give you one last opportunity to reset yourself. So I'm going to try and get ahead of that curve and make a start. I still have some shakes left. You'll find when you start doing this, you get big old packets of the powder, and you might use 75% of the bag. So I still have a few quarter bags left that I can use, which should get me through until I next speak to my coach. Hate to say it, I'm going to have to start planning meals better. I'm going to have to try and plan my my social life a bit better. I mean, everyone likes to go out with friends and socialise, and there's always birthday parties and weddings and work dues and stuff like that. I'm travelling with work coming up soon, so there'll be social interactions and there'll be paid for dinners and stuff like that. So I'm going to have to be mindful of that. And by extension, anyone who's considering doing this program, you have to realise that life does go on after this program, after the first 12 weeks. And I think for me, I could tell I was putting my weight on, and I was embarrassed. So I actually had an alert through an email saying that it's actually a part of this program that you must submit your weight and your blood sugar. And I hadn't for a couple of weeks, so I've done that, and now I've got to face the accountability of that. I know I can turn it around. I've done it before, and the reality is I'm nowhere near as much as I used to weigh, and that is still a positive. I just need to work out how I restart this journey or reset my journey again. And let's be honest, there are going to be slip-ups along the way. This is a lifetime change. It's not a day or a week or a month change. It's a lifetime change, and it's all about getting me into remission or reducing the effect of diabetes on my body. So, where do I see this happening, or where do I see this going rather? I hope that I can get this managed myself, and I don't need to go on a reset program. I suspect I will have to because of the weight that I put on. The coach said at the beginning of the program, as in way back 17 weeks ago, if after the 12 weeks you put on 2 kilos or more, they put you on this reset program, and obviously I put on much more than that. So I suspect that's going to happen. So I don't know how I'm going to cope with another 7 weeks of being on a shake. I guess I'll have to wait until I've spoken to a coach and find out exactly how that works. Am I beating myself up over it? Well, yes I am. I've done this to myself. I've eaten more than I said I would or thought I had, and now that I'm in this situation, I've got to get myself out of it. And I think for me, that's going to be exercising a lot more, and then hopefully that will increase my metabolism again, and then it'll offset any additional calories. And then while I'm learning how to eat less or eat more healthily, it just will buy me some time. I don't want anyone who's watching this video to think, what's the point in doing this program if you're just going to rebound straight away as soon as you finish it? That's not the case. I'm still a lot healthier than I was before. The slip up is on me. I wish the company, so Xyla Health, had been able to offer greater mental health support and perhaps counselling support, and that's perhaps a failing of the program. Perhaps it's a failing on me for not seeking that out independently, but that's something I've got to do now, irrespective. And I will bring it up with my coach when I next speak to them and find out if there is any additional support that they recommend. If not, it will be, I don't know, back to the GP. I don't want to do anything like Weight Watchers or Slimming Well just to have the conversations with them, because I won't be using their program. I'll just be following what's been recommended, and it's senseless doing 2 things at the same time. That's not how this works. So I don't want to leave it in a downbeat mood, even though I do feel a bit downbeat and dejected, if I'm honest with myself. I know I can turn this round, and I'm looking forward to walking more. The weather in the UK is starting to get a bit sunnier, so who knows, once I start walking again I can increase my fitness. And I still have this ambition of doing a park run at the end of the summer. Now I might have to push that back to early autumn, but it's still something I want to do. So I know I've got to shift a lot of weight and I've got to improve my knee strength, so I might need to start going to the gym or going out on my bike, or I've got a stationary bike at home as well, start using that. But yeah, as I said, I don't want this to be a negative video. I don't want people to think that this is all doom and gloom. The fact is that I've identified it and I've recognised it, and now I can start doing something to turn it around rather than just burying my head in the sand for longer and longer and longer. So I'm going to leave it there. I wish everyone who is on this journey continued success, and I'll speak to you on the next video. Have a good day.